Once you have a data question, what comes next? I still haven't analyzed any data yet, and here is why. In my last video, I shared my first data question, that is temperature trends across specific locations in Nigeria. So today, I want to show how I'm learning to move from just having a data question to actually planning a data project without rushing into analysis, because I'm realizing that planning is a major part of data work, not something to skip. The first thing I'm doing is making my question clearer. At first, my question was simply, how have temperatures changed over time across Nigeria? But then I realized that was too broad. So I started narrowing it down. I started asking myself questions like, which part of Nigeria am I interested in? Over what period of time? What exactly am I comparing? After asking myself this question, I finally decided to focus on the 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria, using one city to represent each zone. This, I believe, will give me a sense of temperature trends across the different zones in Nigeria, and also enable me do a comparative analysis of these zones. Just doing this already make the project feel more realistic and less overwhelming. Next, I asked myself 2 important planning questions, like where, that is, which locations will represent each zone. There are 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria, right? And I'm looking at using one city to represent each zone. And when, like what time range makes sense for this analysis. Since climate studies usually look at long-term trends, I chose a period long enough to observe change and still manageable for a beginner project. This step helped me avoid downloading unnecessary data. After this, I started thinking about what information do I need from my data sets. I don't need everything, just what answers my question. For this project, I realized I mainly need temperature values, dates or years, and city location in terms of coordinates. That's all I need. I don't need data sets with over hundreds of features. I need data sets with just the specific features that will help me to answer my questions. This helped me understand that data sets don't need to be complicated to be useful. And honestly, this saved me a lot of time and stress. And it also taught me something. You don't need hundreds and thousands of rows and columns of data sets to actually create good dashboard that makes real impact. Following this step has helped me to determine what features actually matter in my data set, and has also helped me to avoid downloading data randomly. Only after defining all this did I finally ask what data can answer this question. And this changed how I search for data completely. Instead of just browsing randomly, I now know exactly what I'm looking for, and that is historical temperature data for specific Nigerian cities over a defined period of time. And I realized that I can't get that from Cargo. So you see, following these steps will help you open your eyes to other places where you can get data. I'm going to be sharing where I finally got my data. Another thing I didn't realize before is that the data format matters. I started asking what format would be easier for analysis as a beginner. Thinking about this now helps reduce stress later during cleaning and analysis. Don't get me wrong, I'm still learning this process myself. And honestly, this planning stage feels so slow. But I'm beginning to understand that slowing down here actually makes the analysis stage clearer. Then the analysis stage will feel less like guessing and more like following a direction. So right now, this is the stage I'm focusing on. That is planning the project properly before even touching a data set. In my next video, I will finally move into the practical part. I mean, the downloading of the data set, exploring it for the first time, and starting the analysis step by step. If you are also learning data like me, maybe try planning your next project first before opening Excel or coding on Python. Thank you very much for learning with me, and I will see you in my next video.